So what's up, Dice Crew? So I just want to explain certain things to certain people. I got some Dice Crew members that been rocking with me for a while, and they kind of felt a certain type of way about how I was carrying myself, and I just wanted to let y'all know it's like if you've been keeping up with my platform, then you understand that I might say certain things that certain people might agree with, or disagree with, but I never call anybody out their name, and I never disrespect anybody, and I never put anything out there and say that it's a fact if I don't know it to be a truth, like to be a fact. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna say I'm always perfect since I've been trying to grow in this space, but I definitely done got way better at it. And we try our best to make sure we don't disrespect anybody, you know what I mean, or come out there and just even if we speak on different topics or other people's hoods or whatever the case may be, we always make sure that we say what's in a fact or what's an opinion, or we make sure we give them their flowers. We make it clear that it's all love to them, but we definitely don't insert ourselves in anything to make it seem like we trying to instigate any situation, you know what I mean? And I just felt like people want to see things for what they want to see things for, and sometimes people get stubborn and they feel like, you know what, I'm gonna stick to what I feel, and I feel like a lot of people be just seeing things from their point of view instead of seeing things from other people's point of views as well. Like, all this stuff been going on based upon that Pyro Peace Walk, and I just felt like a lot of people was, well, I take that back. It was only a very little percentage of individuals who felt something wrong with that situation. Like, if you come from the streets and you in Compton, you anything, yeah, like if you in Compton, then you definitely know that the Pyros have been unifying themselves, and they constantly been doing it. Even with some Bloods, you know what I mean? Like, it been getting better and better year in, year in, year in. You got certain older dudes coming home from the pen, they just be getting better, and they unifying themselves in the streets. It was just, it was a time to where they all used to get into it with each other at certain points. Some got into it with each other more serious than others, but they came up to a situation to where they said, you know what, let's do something in the public forum. A lot of this stuff that y'all was able to catch on that peace walk, that was just something new for y'all. Like, they been coming together, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of those Pyrus have been unifying themselves, trying their best, and a lot of that stuff was just, to me, it was like something that was right. See, like, what certain people have to understand is it's a leveling up process and everything, right? Because I seen certain people in the comments talking about if they were dissing black gangs, then they was wrong. But what you have to understand is it's always a stepping stool. Right now, they peace treating, or they getting better or unifying amongst themselves, and they got the right to do that. Shout out to them. Maybe tomorrow it might be peace with the Compton Crips. It might be peace, unified, whatever, with all the Crips. It might be a time to where it's unified for all the blacks. It might be a Compton peace walk. You never know. But people wasn't trying to really give the Pyrus their flowers and keep it real by just saying, you know what, they did a great job for what they were trying to do. I felt like certain people was trying to insert themselves in their business more than what they had to. So that's where they kind of gathered the information to feel like they was wrong about, when they felt like, oh, the Pyrus was wrong. No, like, it wasn't for no peace for blacks. It wasn't for Compton. And I'm just, this gonna be like my last time breaking this down for everybody. I know I probably done said this twice, but this gonna be the last time I break it down, because I done got like 5 or 6 comments or whatever where people ain't comprehending it well. But they were coming together for themselves. They were unifying themselves. And what people don't understand that if Pyru's unified themselves and they're not having a big old full-on problem with each other's, then that's great for the black community still. You get what I'm saying? That's a big percentage of violence that's not going to necessarily take place tomorrow that was taking place yesterday. So it's still great for the city. It's still for Compton. It's still good for the black community. It's big for everybody that's living in Compton. You know, these guys have been unifying themselves behind the scenes for a minute now and have yet to be just some full-on war or attack on the Compton Crips. Right? Now, let's just say if that's what they was going to do. That's not something that should be put out there on the internet if that's what they was going to do. We got to keep it all the way street and respect the game at the end of the day. If that's what the Pyrus is trying to do, then that's the street business. It's not for us to get on here on the internet and inform 100 civilians, a million cops and police, and just put it out there to people that's not involved. Because certain things is in the streets to know what you need to know, you know? So that's one of the reasons why I just felt like, you know, that shouldn't have been said like that, you know? And then also, people don't even comprehend well from what's the difference from trying to educate and instigate. You know, when you talking about, you know, oh, I think people is unifying to try to launch an attack. When you telling people like, yo, keep your head on the swivel, like, if that's what you want to do and you that type of guy in the streets, then you take that approach and you get on the phone and let everybody know, like, you know, keep your head on the swivel. You know what I'm saying? That's how you go about it if that's the case you really feel about a street situation. You know what I mean? And like I said, we got to keep the game real, you know? And like I said, people got to know it was not trying to be, and then let's get this straight too, right? When you a soldier in the military, when you a soldier in any army, any group, it would never be just full on war. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, wrong word. It'll never be just full on peace. People always have to redirect their problem to somebody. So for a lot of y'all in the comments talking about, oh, if they was disrespecting another black gang, then that was wrong. No, it's not. You know, because it wasn't about them saying that they putting peace for all blacks. They was putting peace amongst themselves for those that represent the Pyru community. You feel me? Which still benefit the black community, like I said before. It still benefit Compton as a whole, like I said. But what y'all don't understand is whether it's black on black violence or it's black on Mexican violence, it's all bad for the black community. So when y'all saying things like if they said anything wrong, I mean if they disrespected any other black gang member, then that was wrong. So if they disrespected a Mexican person, that would make it right? No. Because at the end of the day, if it go black on black or black on Mexican, the black community have to feel that. You know what I'm saying? Only thing with this community will be now it's not just the black community feeling something behind some Crip and blood, but it would also be blacks and the Mexicans feeling it in their community. So either way it go, as long as you have a problem with anything, it's going to be a bad problem for the community. But I feel like people can't misjudge and try to hold people to a high standard and don't want to give people flowers on moving up to accomplish more and more and more. Like I said, we should have just celebrated that situation. If you got family, friends, if you really into the streets, if you care about the situation, should have just been all flowers given. If you had a certain outlook on that stuff and it was a sincere outlook, could have get with people in the streets and you could tell people how you feel about it. Whether you want to talk to a Pyru about what they was doing or what you're going to talk to the Compton Crips about on looking out or, you know, being focused or keeping their head on the swivel. That's how you keep things, you know, street and keep things what it is. It's a thin line on this internet and people can get offended and things can go crazy. You know, I really care for Compton. I'm not a person like, let's go down this path, right? Like, I jumped on this internet trying to be something, you know, different, better myself, try to jump in here to kick some real knowledges and also participate in certain levels of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? But I never jumped on here really to try to further my gangbang career through the internet. So I'm trying my best to really reach heights with this internet without trying to associate myself just fully on as a gangbanger, or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm not like, some people don't know things, and I'm not mad at certain people for not knowing certain things pertaining to me, because look how I present myself. But I'm not going to give a person an action to disrespect me or not. I'm not standing for no disrespect. That's just the truth in the matter, And, how I was carrying myself in these last couple videos, it was just, that's the person, I come from a time frame in where I come from, to where like you had to really be that, you know what I'm saying? Like you had to. It was no other way around it. It was really sink or swim. And those that know me, if y'all tune in on this, people know about, other people from where I'm from, people that, the competition and all these things, and just the whole section in general and all these things, people know, like, I'm talking facts, Like, I'm real, like I'm really that from where I come from. I represent a real elite time frame that a lot of people can't say they come from. It's not just saying like about this and that and who this and that. It's about like, was you here from this certain time frame? It probably been, not probably, but it has been other time frames, with my big homies and G homies and niggas who before me. But far as like when I was trying to come up since my early teens, it was a real serious time frame. It's like, I was born in like a real war in my section. You know what I'm saying? When I was born, like when I associated myself or jumped off the porch for it or whatever word we use it or whatever, it was diving into like my section was like at the height of some real drama, like real serious. You feel me? And like, yeah, like, it been wins in that situation, and it also been losses in that situation. You know what I mean? And people will tell you that. I never been a turned up type of guy. But I mean what I mean, and I stand for what I stand on. And I carry my honor and integrity. And I don't sit down. I stand up for whatever I stand up for, or whatever the case may be. But I never been a turned up type of guy, Real talk. But you would never find anybody in these streets to say like, yeah, he's a sit down individual, or, he's a pushover. That's not what we're gonna do. And if I could get on here and say who my dad is, I could get on here and say who my siblings is, I could get on here to say who my cousins is, I could get on here and say what hood I lived in, what hood I was raised in, what hood I lived in over here, what hood I lived in over here. My family is from here, my family is from here, my family is from here. And a lot of people would be on here like, wow, I didn't know you was tied into that. All through Compton, East Side, South Central, people in Long Beach, Watch. Like, it's really like that. Which is like, if you really come from here, it's not really no surprise, But I'm just putting that out there to say, like, I'm not trying to really piggyback off of other people's accomplishments, and we're not trying to necessarily run like a gangbang channel, So I don't want to get on here and just, oh, that's such and such. Like, I could get on here with the photo book. I could get on here and run this. I could show you these days, and I was at their hood day. We was at their hood day. They was at our hood day. I could show all these things. That's just not what I'm doing. So some people might not really understand where I'm coming from when I speak on certain things, but it's like when people was trying to like pretty much instigate and not try to understand. Listen, if everybody would have gave out all flowers for that Pyro thing, then it would have been no problems. It would have been what it is, and it would have came and went, and that would have been that, right? Outside of that, when you have people picking holes in that, that's where the negativity come in at. So if you really for peace, you have to watch what you saying and what you represent. I mean, what you put out there, because the moment you start offending people, you then turned into a person who is instigating a problem to be. You know, you bettering the chances for it to be a possible situation. You know, and make it deeper than what it has to be. You know, but if anybody read that situation for what it was, you shouldn't have been mad at that. And this is why it wasn't nobody mad at that. You had a couple people, they felt some type of way. But let me tell y'all about my city for real. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you about Compton for real. If any real, like, if people was mad about that peace walk, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but I'm going to speak on this for both sides. Like, in Compton, if somebody would have had a problem for that Pyru peace walk, it wouldn't have had a smooth outcome. If people had a problem with that Pyro peace walk in Compton, by now, probably would have been like at least 16 shootings. Possibly, you know, something worse than that. You know? It would have been like 16 shootings between that. If Compton Crips really felt offended behind that. Real Compton Crips understood that they was pushing the agenda for themselves, and that was Pyro business, and they did right, and that was something that everybody can learn from, no matter what it is. Whether, you know, a lot of Bloods do it, you know, whether, you know, whoever does need to do it, you know what I'm saying? Anybody could have learned from that, you know, whether, you know, I ain't saying certain groups ain't tight already, but I'm just saying, you know, whatever you want to, whether the Compton Crips want to learn from it, whether the Compton Vadios want to learn from it, you know, whether people in Long Beach want to learn from it, Watts want to learn from it, South Central LA learn from it, West LA, IE, all the way around the world, whatever, then that's what's cool. You know? But I felt like people trying to insert themselves in a situation that didn't have nothing to do with them. You know? And that was just the truth of the matter. And me really having all these people, and really people, my people live here, my people live here, we from here, they from here, we all from here, we all care about each other, then I think I got more real care to want things to be cool, you know? Because if something go over there, then I gotta hope, you know, my people ain't get hit. If they go over here, we go over here. It's like the percentage of you not being hurt when you really tied into everybody or a lot of people, it's serious, man. Don't worry, like, don't get it like Trish, like, don't get it confused. Like, I understand what everybody signed up for and what the case may be. So if it's real legitimate reasons, then it's like, dang, it is what it is, though. And you know, we get that. But I'm just not on here putting name dropping and talking about who my friends and my homies, my family, and all that is. But I really care for the peace, and that's in Compton more than a lot of people. As y'all can see, a lot of people jumped out the window and they started talking about, you know, things that was offensive to people. You know, they went from acting like they really was pushing unity or they was flower giving, and then it started like everybody wanted to act like they had a problem. Just because the Pyru succeeded in they get down. They never said they was doing a Pyru and Crip meeting or peace walk. They never said they was doing a black community unity walk. They never said that for the Mexicans in Compton. They just said they was doing something for them. And then also, you know, if people did have a problem with them and they did that, you know, they could have did, you know, people could have had a problem with that then. For people that found it a real problem, like, you know, get with them while they're there. Or, you know, people outside in the streets, you know, I don't know how many days it's been since that peace walk, you know, maybe like a week and a half or something. Go get at them. If that's what you wanted to do, but don't get on the internet and stir the pot and put paint where it ain't. Because some people, if they ain't got a strong mind, you be surprised on what fuels rage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm far from a dummy. Some people might not get where I'm coming from at times. I ain't saying I'm just perfectly or on the dot or on point with everything. But it's like, I communicate with the best. I've been raised by some of the best. I've been taught by some of the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, for real. For real, for real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, you will never find nobody that come from my hood to say anything different. You know? Even it might be a person who might not see eye to eye with me at a moment, but they're like, on the reality tip of things, they will always tell you, like, dude come from a real strong time frame. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not no, like, you know what I'm saying? I know, like, I'm serious. And I'm just asserting that in there because I understand where certain people get confused about me because I'm not on here telling stories and exposing who all I know and who my family is. So people might look at me like, man, who is this guy? Where is he from? Who is he? Is he even tied in? Who is this, and that? Nah, man, I'm not on here playing with no serious gang culture or playing with no real street issues and stuff like that just for some content. I'm not even raised that way. You know what I'm saying? I have always got on here and said that we don't need to let anything on the internet roll over into the streets. And that's one reason why, I'm like apologizing to some of the Dice Crew members, who probably felt like, I was jumping off of our our conduct in that situation. But I also gotta let people know too on the street side of things when it comes to this content, like, it can be consequences too. And I'm teaching people and young boys and stuff out here how to carry yourself as a man. You don't get on this internet and disrespecting nobody and you don't call them out their name and all that stuff, but you keep things factual and you don't let nobody disrespect you. I'm teaching people that, and that's just all it is with me. I'm going to always be willing to fight for what I stand on. And I'm going to be willing to fight for what I'm right about, just like I'm willing to, apologize if I'm wrong about something. That's just the truth in the matter. So I feel like I pretty much, wrapped up everything I wanted to say pertaining to, these last little current events and stuff like that. Y'all can let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments. We could dialogue. I got the Instagram at Keep It a Benji. Y'all can reach out direct or not, whatever the case may be, however we go. But like I said, man, just, I'm not no goofy. I'm well educated and real knowledgeable. I really come from a real time frame from where I come from. I really come from being like raised right from a lot of right people, household to the streets. Like, I'm really tied in with real figures, real people who come from where they come from, of different generations. I have really lived in certain people's hoods based upon just, the way I lead with respect, being a stand-up guy, be on whether it's on love, whether it's on just respect, love, or who I am, or who I'm tied to, whatever the cases may be, different times. I really have lived in these places. That was a Pyru Peace Walk. That was it. They did great with that. Maybe tomorrow, who knows what it might be. But as far as what their agenda was and what they said from day one, they did well with that. And that's just me keeping it real. Like I said, Pyru Peace means better for the black community anyway. But people so want to find wrong in things that they don't want to see things for what it is. Pyru Peace means peace in the black community. Maybe not all, but it takes a chunk out of it. Believe it. Because it used to be a time to where, like, man, these Compton Crips and these Compton Crips is rocking. Those Pyrus and those Pyrus is rocking. And it might be a little Crip and blood between them. But it was all over the city. And then you might, you got some Mexican violence on there too. Some CVs versus CVs. CVs a little bit with some, like, but for the most part, it used to be like that. It been times like that. It might be like that tomorrow. But if you could get any unity, it's beneficial for the community. You feel me? No matter how you look at it. Anything, And I just feel like, if you ain't from Compton and you ain't got to really be involved directly to pay no price if stuff go occur, be mindful on what you say in the comments or what you say on these internets. Just because it's on the internet, that don't mean you have to speak on it. Do you have, can you speak on it? Yeah, you can. But I feel like make sure you more responsible with it, and make sure you can't be doing things that can be putting seeds in people's minds that can go left. You know, people get on here and talk about what will go on in the prison yard. Well, tell God you want to go back to the prison yard. You know, people want to act like they want to talk about too much about the streets. Well, get off the internet and the web and just go back in the streets and run that type of course. Now, you know, we're going to probably make some, you know, in the future, you know, ain't no telling what all might be getting exposed, like, not exposed, like, on some, you know, negativity or trying to expose this and that, but, you know, I might have some surprises for y'all on some people that, you know, want to allow me to get them their interviews. You know, I might, you know, get the opportunity to vlog certain people, you know, this, that, and all kind of different stuff, so where y'all can kind of get more of an understanding of who I am and where I come from, and, you know, who I know and who I'm affiliated with, or who's my family, and where I lived in this place and grew up here and played with those kids, and you know what I'm saying? Just real talk. But I hope everybody get where I was coming from. I just pretty much wrapped it up with a small brief on everything I did discuss for the majority of the video. Y'all can reach out to me on the Instagram, keep it a Benji, jump it in the comments, however y'all want to do it, man. But you know, always stand for something, lead with respect, don't disrespect anybody. And if people carry themselves without honor, that don't mean you got to carry yourself without honor. People want to carry themselves like clowns, that don't mean you got to join the circus, you know? And we're going to keep it a Benji like we always do. Shout out to the Dice Crew. Shout out to Compton. Everybody on both sides. Shout out to everybody that's pushing the right agendas pertaining to the streets. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to all the real people that, you know, when they opinionate on certain things, they get in front of it, you know? It's a lot of things that you can easily say and run your mouth on this content space, man. I'm not one of them dudes who want to go back and forth on content and disrespect people on content just so I can end up doing content with them. You feel me? I'm not that guy. Certain people are. You know, they want to get on this content space and, you know, disrespect people, have full-on content wars with them just so they can turn around and do content with them. Me, I'm not that guy, homie. It is what it is. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.